Hey guys, what's going on? So today I'm going to be taking you through 5 deadly sins in business. So number 1 is chasing a really high profit margin. So there's nothing wrong with obviously trying to find your optimal price point so that you can charge more, but a common mistake people make is that they put their prices up to try and make their brand seem more premium. But what they're doing by doing this without any research, coupling it with sales over time, is that they're actually inviting new companies to come and compete with them and underpin them on price, or even existing companies that have the infrastructure to take you on, but just lower their price. So you've got to be careful when setting a high price point. Yes, it can affect your brand positively and make people perceive you as being more premium and higher quality, but if it isn't, and if you haven't done your research and you've got your price point wrong, then it can be a really costly mistake, and you could find yourself on the wrong end of a competitor who is in a position to be able to undercut you significantly and steal a lot of those customers. So number 2 is not knowing your audience. Well, not when I say audience, I mean your customers. So you really need to understand everything about them. I always talk about creating a psychological profile when you're blogging, so that you sort of have a vision of 1 or 2 people that you're aiming this at, and it almost makes it easier to pitch your marketing content at them because you know the sort of people you're talking to. Whereas if you're just doing it generically, you've got less of a chance of actually hitting the right notes with them. You need to understand like how old they are, how much they're getting paid generally, because that will help you set your price point, and it also tells you a little bit about where they are in terms of their lifestyle. You need to understand what their interests are. I mean, even things like what they have for breakfast, although it seems banal, you sort of need to know everything, because you never know when using a little tidbit of information which you know will connect with a lot of your users can help you convert something. So find out as much as you possibly can, and if that means carrying out surveys and polls, or just interacting with people more and more and more on social, then do it, because the more you can't have too much information about your users, and if you don't have it, then you've got far less chance of actually converting them, keeping them as long-term users, and it's just good business practice anyway. It helps you with support, helps you with everything. Understand your users. Don't think that you're above needing to do that, because you're not. Okay, so the third one's one that we see quite a lot now, especially in content marketing, and that's an over-reliance on hyperbole. And not just hyperbole, but just general lies, actually. You see it a lot with clickbait, people making up fantastical headlines to try and get you to click. It's not received well. It may get a few clicks to begin with, but your bounce rate is going to be super high, because people are going to leave when they realize that actually your content doesn't deliver on what it promised. And the same applies to your business. If you make huge overstatements, then you're going to set yourself up for a big fall. The only thing that really converts long term is credibility, whether that's the brand or whether that's the voice of the person speaking. You're never going to get far by making things up. You're going to just set yourself up for a fall, and you can only get so far on force of will, basically shouting from the rooftops. It's a good thing to do that, but back it up with some solid proof that your brand can deliver on its promise. And don't just rely on snappy, bold, hyperbolic headlines, because it can only get you so far. Another common mistake is that people don't invest time in their own team. So they hire people when they start to grow, which is brilliant. They set them off on the right track, and they say, there you go, you're responsible for this and that, and then that's it. The support ceases, and you're just left to fend for yourself as an employee of that company. Well, that isn't going to work out. You've got to invest time into your employees. They've got to learn, they've got to mature, they've got to develop, they've got their own goals, their own aspirations, and you've got to try and help them achieve that. And if you can help them achieve that whilst bettering your own company, then brilliant. but that's what you need to do. You need to look after your team. They are an incredibly important commodity to you. So nurture them, train them, educate them, look after them, and if you do that, then you'll see some big returns. But it's a huge sin that is commonly seen, especially among startups actually, and people that aren't used to managing teams. They're used to working by themselves, that they don't invest enough time in the development of their own team. So yeah, that's a big one. Okay, so the final one is not asking for referrals. So it's a really obvious one. If you've got a user base of happy users, why not ask them to refer people they know, friends, colleagues, even family? It depends on your product. It's the simplest marketing hack in the book, but so few companies do it. And if they do it, they don't do it effectively. Again, understanding your user will tell you what a really decent referral program is. So understand what makes them tick, what rewards them. Then simply offer them that in return for them referring someone to your business. So it's an easy win. And actually, if you are delivering a good service and over-delivering, then you're doing them a disservice by not asking them to refer people, because they need to be telling the people that they care about most, whether they're colleagues or family, about your product, because it's going to help them. So although it might seem like an awkward thing to do, like asking someone for a referral, especially if you're British, it's just one of those reserved things that we don't feel comfortable doing. Think about it in a different way. Think about it as actually you're doing them a favour by asking them to ask their friends. When we started adding in a referral program to Quuu, I think it was converting at about 25%. So 25% of the people who actually referred a friend had someone sign up. And overall, I think those referrals accounted for about 5% of our total sign-ups, which is incredible. 5% of our new users were coming from our own users referring people. We didn't have to do anything. Okay guys, so that just about concludes today's vlog. I hope that was useful to you, and if it was, then hit that like button, and I will see you in the next vlog. Bye!